Hi everybody and welcome back to another Legends of Runeterra video. We finally get the Pyke reveal. They've been holding out on us all day trying to get us to watch the seasonal tournament, and finally they released the entire video trailer teaser for Pyke to Twitter. It's on YouTube as well, and we get a couple of cards here, I guess. Some new ones as well from Demacia and Ionia, which is kind of interesting. Probably you guys have all seen this. Pyke was obviously leaked, so a lot of people already know what Pyke does at this point, but we're still going to go through it. I'm going to give my first impressions. Go ahead and watch the video, and it is a little bit the video itself is interesting. Music's good as always. Go ahead and watch it, check it out. It's pretty cool. All right, so what do we have here? So Pyke is a 4-cost lurker from Bilgewater, as we were expecting. It's a 2/3, so fairly understated, so pretty much opposite of what Rek'Sai was. If you remember, 3/6 for Rek'Sai as a 3-drop. Pyke is a 2/3, 4-drop. But we also have the lurk ability here and quick attack, so that's pretty cool. When I lurk, okay, and then we're kind of introducing as well a new sort of mechanic into the game with Pyke that we haven't really seen before. When I lurk, transform me into a Death from Below. So you'll see Death from Below is right over here. This is a this is the lurk card, right? But the only way to produce it, as far as we're aware at this moment, is to have Pyke on the top of your deck lurking. It's a token card. It's not main deckable. The only one here on this page, I guess, besides Pyke's Bone Skewer, which has a main deckable card, not the champion spell. But so what we got here? So summon Pyke, striking an enemy. So I assume like how it works is you put Pyke on the deck, you've attacked, right? So when I lurk only happens on your attack, so it doesn't happen on your defensive turn. So this kind of puts limitations on the card, right? Because you want to predict or get Pyke on the top of your deck before you attack. So if it happens on your defensive turn, you're not going to get this Death from Below, which I guess is okay, because then you can just put Pyke out. He's buffed his attack stat to whatever it needs to be, or not whatever it needs to be, whatever it happens to be at that moment, and you attack with him. But if you do happen to get the lurk proc with Pyke on your attack turn, then the next turn you're going to draw Death from Below, summon Pyke, striking an enemy. This is basically just a combat strike. You target an enemy, right? Kill it. It stays alive, whatever damage, whatever you want to do with it. And Pyke comes out onto the board as well. So it costs the same amount. It's kind of interesting because Pyke can actually come out before turn 4, right? So if we, by some, means have... Okay, so let's say we put out a 1-cost lurker on turn 1. We've got a turn 2 attack. We get lucky and we have Pyke on the top of our deck when we attack on turn 2, and we're going to pull Pyke round 3 with 5 mana to play, right? And then we can play this on turn 3, attacking or striking an enemy. So you can get this out earlier. Pyke actually is not just limited to coming out on turn 4, which is pretty cool, because we can delve into our spell mana to get him out earlier. And actually that's probably going to be easier than you guys think, because we have 0-cost predict spells and other cheap predict spells now that we can use to get it out. So I mean, we've got Scrying Sands, which is the 1-drop. We've got the Rek'Sai card, I can't remember the name right now, but that's 0-cost. So I mean, there's ways to get Pyke out on turn 3 that's pretty cool, and just kind of cheat him out and strike an enemy while we're at it. Now that being said, though, we get him out early. His he's not going to have a huge attack stat at that point in the game, so he's not going to be dealing massive amounts of damage, but getting him out earlier may help win the game. I don't know, kind of depends on how strong lurk ends up being and how reliable Pyke is at leveling up. So anyway, pretty interesting. Bone Skewer, we already know this, like, I didn't expect it necessarily to be his champion spell, but we kind of expected it to be part of the Pyke package. It makes a little bit more sense now, so we can put Pyke back on top of our deck, or any other lurker card really, but we can kind of see why it synergizes well with Pyke, because we strike with him. It helps to level him up. Allied pikes, I didn't even mention this, allied pikes have dealt 15 or more damage, so we can attack with pike, put him on top of the deck. Then we attack on our attack turn, turn him into death from below, and then we get extra, you know, attack damage, or control kind of out of this death from below. So pretty cool. All right, so let's look at leveled up pike here. When I lurk, transform me into death from below. So same thing. When I kill an enemy, I strike the weakest enemy. So what I took from this from the video was that if you ended up killing, so say for example he's a 10-4, you strike the strongest enemy, he kills it, and then it just keeps going down the line. Pretty much nothing else is going to be able to have enough health at that point to be able to stop you. So I think it chains, so we just basically kill everything. It's a board wipe, which is pretty amazing. When I kill an enemy as well, so it's just kind of like, it can happen whenever. You can use combat strikes on your attack phase, on your defense phase, just everything. So I mean, there's a lot of ways we could combo this. Now, I mean, is he going to be boxed into kind of the lurker archetype? Probably, but I mean, I think there is room for experimentation with pike and other decks, and that's pretty exciting. He's not necessarily, I think he's going to be best used in a lurker deck, but it's kind of exciting that we could potentially experiment with him in other decks as well. So pretty cool. Pike seems awesome. The lurker archetype for me seemed to be a little bit vanilla, but they, I think, definitely did a good job with the champions, and I personally like Pike a little bit better than I do Rek'Sai. Pike is one of my favorite champions inside the main game, and he's just, yeah, really cool thematically here in Legends of Runeterra. All right, let's go on to the next page here. So we got a couple more cards we can quickly go over. Again, these ones were revealed already. So the first one here on the left-hand side, an 8-drop Lurker. This is the finisher card from Bilgewater, and for the Lurk archetype, really, I mean, I have to go look at Mobalytics at the names of the other ones. The Zerzerath, the Under Titan, and the Xerxai Dunebreaker, or whatever it is. They look almost childish compared to this Jawfish. A Lurk card coming out on turn 8. Play. Each Lurker allies strikes a random enemy. This is very reminiscent to me of Riptide Rex, except for that Jawfish makes Riptide Rex look like a toy. I mean, especially if you got a ton of lurkers out. Like, okay, so I guess there are some conditions to be met, but this seems at first glance to be even more powerful than Riptide Rex. Riptide Rex has a condition as well. You have to have Plundered. I guess with the Jawfish, you have to, like, at the very least, you're having this Jawfish attack a random enemy on play, but you have to have others, I guess, to have it really be made worthwhile, a worthwhile ability. And then basically you're going to be taking out everything. Lurkers at that point are just going to be giant. They're just huge, so anything that they're going to strike is basically going to die. One downside that I do see with the Jawfish is that it almost seems redundant with Pike's ability, leveled up ability. When I kill an enemy, I strike the weakest enemy. This pretty much, at that same point in the game, is going to be taking out all the units when Pike kills something. So, I mean, we've got this out for 4 mana, already out and developed. The Jawfish, you have to pay 8 mana for basically the same thing. And if you've got Pike out, it's just like overkill. Then Pike's going to be killing everything, right? Because he's going to be striking and killing and then killing everything else. So, I mean, like, it's like almost double security that every single unit on the board dies if you play Jawfish when Pike is out. And leveled up. He's got to be leveled up, but still. All right. And I guess that's a point as well. If Pike isn't leveled up, this is almost a guarantee to help him level up anyway, right? So it's like basically a free strike with Pike that helps him level up if he hasn't already. So, and this is going to have to be there. It's a play effect, so there's really only a couple of ways to stop it from going through. That being Rite of Negation and Deny. Maybe something else, but for the most part, like, we've got 2 things that can interrupt this. You could, I guess, remove the lurkers themselves, and that could potentially help slow down this ability, but, like, overall, if this thing's coming out, it's going to be finishing the game. Very strong unit. Yeah, very, very strong. This is kind of like the tying knot to the lurker archetype, making sure that we kill everything and then are able to hit the enemy nexus with our with our units, which is pretty cool. All right, so the last couple of cards here are from Demacia and Ionia. The Swift Wing Flight. This just kind of automatically reminds me of cards that give us a lot of flexibility. So this is a 4-drop, a 3/2. Laurent Chevalier, whatever his name is, right? He may be a little bit sad now. I don't know. It's the same stat line, even an epic card from Demacia. This card is producing automatically a card that we can create in hand: the Fleet Feather Tracker, Blinding Assault, or the Silverwing Vanguard, which is pretty cool. So again, kind of flexibility. We see the Fleet Feather Tracker and Blinding Assault in certain archetypes. Silverwing Vanguard, we don't really see that much, but I mean, yeah, just don't see it very much. And the problem, I guess, with that one is that it's going to be another 4-drop. So that we're and like this is a unit as well. So whereas Three Sisters, you're banking into spell mana, Swift Wing Flight is coming directly from your playable mana, your like unit played mana, and then you're going to have to play more of that mana on top of that to summon Fleet Feather Tracker or Silverwing Vanguard. Not necessarily Blinding Assault, which will probably be the card that is picked most of the time, just because it is spell mana. So that's kind of my take on this card. Attack, give other challenging allies +1/+1 this round. So this buff shouldn't count towards the Swiftwing Flight's stats, but the other cards that have challenger and are out. I mean, we have seen, I guess, kind of challenger archetypes in the past with the Grand Plaza, but besides that, there really hasn't been a ton. So I don't know if this actually helps, you know, really a Demacia deck. That's kind of, I would have to wait and see how it performs, but I just don't see it really hitting Demacia decks or occupying a 4 slot in a meaningful way. Just because typically we haven't really seen these sort of challenge, like half of his you know ability is granting units with challenger a stat buff, and I just don't know how likely that's going to be. I mean, maybe it helps with like I said, with an ephemeral deck with the Grand Plaza and you have like Haunted Relic or something, and then we all of a sudden have really powerful I don't even know what they're called, those little ghost things. So we'll see what happens with this. I don't really expect this to be in like a tier 1 deck though. I'm definitely going to experiment with it, but I just don't see it being a super powerful card at the moment. All right, and then a 7-drop from Ionia, Sacred Protector. Allies with Barrier have double attack. Play, draw a Shin. So, you know, just like regular boats here, we don't have any other keywords. This is a tutor for Shin at turn 7, which is kind of interesting. I guess I would have never expected Shen to get a tutor, to be honest. And I really don't know how I feel about this one, to be honest. So, I mean, this is almost trying to force the archetype with like Fists of the Dragon and that sort of idea. Not necessarily him, because he's already got double attack, but like, you know, kind of the syncopation. We have barrier, syncopation. We free up a like strong hitting unit that's been supported by Shin and has barrier and is able to hit the enemy nexus with a double attack. That could be something like the Greenglade Protector. Is that right? And you know, the 1-drop that gains attack with when they're barriered and everything. So we'll see what happens. I think like overall the ability here is pretty weak, because it doesn't provide this ability on its own, right? It's not like it's granting units barrier. Itself is you're reliant on your other units and spells granting barrier to get real use out of this 7-drop card. Yeah, I just don't see it being super good. I think it's a little too slow. But maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe prove me wrong, I guess, everybody. Build a really strong Sacred Protector deck with Shin. Yeah. That's about it, I think. Yeah, anything else? Did I miss anything? What do you guys think about Pyke? Are you excited? Are you as excited as I am to play Pyke? I think so far, Pyke seems more interesting to me than Rek'Sai, so, but we'll have to play them together more than likely to have a really efficient deck. But yeah, anyway, we'll see how Echo is and how I feel about Echo when they reveal him. But anyway, pretty cool so far. Yeah, if you guys enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.